Hello, friends. My name is Barb Walden, and I am speaking to you today from my home in Indianapolis, Indiana. Today, I'd like to share with you one of my favorite stories in church history. It's about a man named Clifford Cole who served as an apostle for the church from 1958 through 1980. Clifford contributed quite a bit to our understanding of the scriptures and the historical context surrounding those scriptures. He helped develop educational resources and teaching materials for students of all ages. But today's story is not so much about the work that Clifford Cole did for the church. Rather, it's a story about his drive home from work one day. You see, he was traveling home from work in Independence during the wintertime, and that particular day, winter weather was in full force. It was snowy and icy, making it rather challenging to drive along the road surfaces. As he was traveling along, he saw another man in another vehicle who was along the side of the road with his front end angled out into the road, and that man's back wheels were spinning as it appeared he was having a difficult time catching traction to the road surface. Well, Clifford, seeing a man in need, jumped into action, and he snuck up behind him in his car and thought that he could help push that man out into the road. So he pressed his front bumper up to that stranger's back bumper and slowly pushed him out into the road to where he was able to gain traction to the road surface. Well, the man drove ahead a little bit and then motioned for Clifford to drive on around him, which Clifford did. Clifford drove around him, gave him a little friendly wave, and then continued on his way home. Well, he looked into the rearview mirror, anticipating that that man would be right behind him driving along in his car, and Clifford was surprised when he discovered the man wasn't behind him at all. In fact, the man put his car in reverse and was proceeding to parallel park his vehicle along the curb. That's when Clifford realized that the man was not trying to get out into the road at all. In fact, he was simply trying to park his vehicle when Clifford had snuck up behind him and generously pushed him out into the road. So as you can imagine, Clifford was pretty embarrassed by what had taken place. He laughed about it. And the reason I love this story so much, for two reasons really. The first is it shows when Clifford saw someone in need, he had a natural sense to jump into action to help that person. Secondly, is that Clifford did not keep this embarrassing story to himself. Rather, he thought it was pretty funny and he knew others would as well. So he shared this story generously with his friends and colleagues. And it was decades later that one of his colleagues so generously shared the story with me, making it one of my favorite stories in church history. Thank you for listening.